Day 6 of pads is in the books. We've got quarterback updates, we've got standouts, we've got risers, we've got fallers. We got a lot of stuff to break down with day 6. We have a big sample size now to work with now that the 49ers have gone through 6 practices. So we can really start to build the entire story here, and we're going to get into it all right after this. But first, you already know what to do. Drop an SDS in the chat, smash that like button, and let's cook. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. What is going down, Sourdough Squad? We had an eventful day down in Santa Clara. No fights today, but we got some more good quality 49ers practice. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about. Of course, you're going to get your quarterback updates. You're going to get all that good stuff. We're going to talk about all that. There's a special guest today at the San Francisco 49ers facility. Actually met with the team after practice and had some words to say with the entire squad. You may be familiar with this basketball legend, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you can kind of see his head in the background talking to the whole team. He made an appearance today at 49ers practice and had to, didn't have to, but did speak to the entire team after practice. So I thought that was pretty cool to see a basketball legend come to 49ers practice and speak to the team at the end. I was like, why are they all running over there? And I had someone tell me before that he's like, hey, check out this guy over here. See him sitting under that umbrella? That's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I was like, oh, snap. So we had some legends in attendance today. I'm not sure if you guys heard, but we got a new defensive lineman. The San Francisco 49ers signed Taco Charlton, former first-round draft pick, today. And I will say that I was very impressed by Taco Charlton today. I really wasn't expecting much of anything from Taco Charlton. I really didn't. Didn't expect a single thing. Taco Charlton, all of a sudden, when we saw, perfect timing, Taco Tuesday, makes sense now. So he's wearing number 77. Pretty ugly number. But we're watching install. I'm watching install period. He's kind of running the scout team, and then he pops over the defensive side, and I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, that's Drake Jackson, Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead, and Taco Charlton. I was like, day one, already mixing in with the ones. So I thought that was interesting through like kind of the install period where it's straight walkthrough. They're just installing their plays, kind of walking through all that kind of stuff. And so I thought that was interesting, right? Like Taco Charlton's already lining up with the ones. Well, he lined up in 1v1s today. He had 2 reps that stood out to me. Absolutely cooked. I was like, oh, who is this guy? I know who Taco Charlton is. I know who he is. Former first-round draft picks, bounced around the league. But he comes in, and he's going up against backup tackles. I think Leroy Watson, Il Manning. So he's going up against backups. But he instantly unleashes this bag of pass rushing moves. And he starts, bobbing and weaving, hand swipes, jumping, and pancakes the first offensive lineman, puts him right on his butt. Like he set him up, and then is basically he like was setting up like it almost looked like he was getting ready to engage some kind of like club swim, but instead of doing any type of finesse move, he went straight speed to power and put this offensive lineman on his butt in his very first rep. And I was like, okay, Taco Tuesday. And so then I'm like, all right, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, what else you got, Taco? Very next time he goes up, right side, lines up against, I think this one was against Leroy Watson. And kind of similar to what we saw from Drake Jackson yesterday, he sets up outside spin, instant violent counter. He set up outside speed, instant counter, inside spin. Whoops. Absolutely cooked. And I'm like, I was not expecting this today. One, I was not expecting to see Taco Charlton at all in a 49er jersey today. But I definitely wasn't expecting Taco Charlton to come in and already start looking like a guy. So, developing story. 49ers, if Taco Charlton can be someone that they rely on, they just signed him off the streets. We've been asking about, right? The 49ers should sign another defensive end. They got one. They got Taco Charlton, and he already made an impact. He already showed something on day one. So you got that going for you. I thought that was pretty cool. Tisha says, I heard Jalen Moore got hurt. Doesn't look like a bad injury. Yeah, it was a little bit scary situation at practice. It's always scary when someone goes down and they stop everything. So, like, you had players come onto the field. You had guys take knees. You had a big huddle around Jalen. I couldn't tell who was down. I could see he was down. And I was like, dang, I can't see a number. Who is this? And he pops up after a while, and it's Jalen Moore. He was walking under his own power, but he walked off the field, definitely limping pretty tough, and then got on a cart. I don't think the cart was because he couldn't walk. It was more so, we're going to take him back to the trainer's room and get him checked out. So, again, not fun when you run into injuries at training camp. But, of course, the San Francisco 49ers, it does feel like we're TBD, so I don't want to speak out of hand. It didn't look too serious from the way he was able to get back up and walk back to the sideline. So we'll see. We'll wait and see what's going on with Jalen Moore. But I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing because Jalen Moore has looked decent. He's looked good. He hasn't won every rep. He's held up well in one-on-ones. He's held up well in team in some instances. And he's been the primary swing tackle. And if you have to remember, going back to last year, Colton McKivitz was your primary swing tackle. Well, Colton McKivitz is your starter. And now your backup swing tackle is now your primary swing tackle. Now he's hurt. So now depth at tackle is going to be something to look out for. Obviously, if the San Francisco 49ers were to draft a tackle in the draft, maybe this wouldn't be too much of a discussion. But now, depending on Jalen Moore's situation and injury, backup tackle could become a problem. Because as we know, too, Trent Williams doesn't practice all that often. We got Trent Williams practice today, and I got some Trent Williams nuggets for you today. So stay tuned for Trent Williams domination. I'm going to break that down in a second. But if Jalen Moore is injured for an extended period of time, that will be concerning because Ilm Manning so far, I have not been impressed with. So, again, he's a rookie. He's an undrafted free agent. Things could change. But so far has left a lot to be desired. So, if we have an issue at swing tackle, I think that's a bigger issue that we really got to pay attention to. So that's one thing out of today's practice. Jalen Moore goes down. Doesn't seem to be too serious, but we don't know just yet. And we are going to have to figure out what's going on with him, because if he is out, that will become a problem for training camp. I really do. I really do think that will be an issue. But this was pretty cool to see. So right here you got Steve Wilkes with Diamador Lenore and Charvarius Ward. So I mean, talk about hands-on coaching. Like this is what a teacher looks like. I think you guys remember back to the infamous Jed York press conference after they fired Harbaugh, and he said, "What are you looking for?" He's like, "I'm looking for a teacher." Right? This is what a teacher is. Like this is a guy, and this clip is actually 3 minutes. I posted this full clip on YouTube because it's literally just Steve Wilkes, like just back and forth with Charvarius Ward and Diamador Lenore, teaching them all different types of techniques and all those different types of things. It's really cool to see, man. And, for the 49ers having a pretty young defensive back room, I think this is a good thing, because now you have a guy who's hands-on, who's going to be able to really lay some game on Charvarius Ward, especially Diamador Lenore, and of course some of the younger cornerbacks coming in. And I mean, you can see right here what he's teaching. So you can see they're trying, when the wide receiver goes up to high point, what he's telling Diamador Lenore is to put your hands in between his arms and open them, like almost like a vice or like a jaws of life, right? So what he's teaching Diamador Lenore right now is a PBU technique. So when they go up to high point, just because you don't get your hand on the ball for an instant deflection, you can still, like, because if you think of your arms are like this, if you spread their arms, it's harder to maintain that type of rigidity for a wide receiver. So these are little technical things that these guys can take to the next level. Again, you kind of think you got to bat the ball, and he's like, you don't even got to bat the ball. You just got to you got to make them go from this to this. And so again, it's really cool to see. Steve Wilkes definitely has his fingerprints all over the San Francisco 49ers defense right now, and it is good to see. Don't worry, stay tuned. We are going to talk a lot about the quarterbacks. Trust me. We got a lot of quarterbacks to talk about. But before we get into the quarterbacks, and before we get into some other stuff, because there's a lot of fun stuff to come out of training camp today, we are going to talk about the kicker competition. We haven't spent enough time talking about the kicker competition, because that's what it has been. It has been a competition between Zane Gonzalez and Jake Moody. Now, as you know, the San Francisco 49ers selected Jake Moody in the 3rd round, pick 99, right? So if you guys were with me live, I was live when that pick was made. I was flabbergasted. You guys, I had zero analysis. All I could do was hoot and holler, because I couldn't believe that the San Francisco 49ers did it. They took a kicker in the 3rd. We always knew it. We joked about it all the time, but it never felt like they were actually going to do it. Well, the 49ers did it. And again, if you were with me live on that draft show, boy, was I like, I can't believe they did it. I was like, I was like, woo, they did it. They took a kicker. Well, I'm pleased to, I have some very positive reports for you if you guys haven't seen them already. Jake Moody. So Kyle's been rotating kickers like he's been rotating quarterbacks. Very interesting rotation. But that's the biggest takeaway. That was the biggest takeaway I have from Kyle Shanahan's rotational policies. They don't make sense to me, but he's consistent with it. Doesn't matter the position. They do these types of rotations, whether it's offensive line, quarterback, kicker. It doesn't matter. It's one thing that I've learned covering 49ers training camp these last couple years. But to end practice today, And of course, we're going to get into the team periods. We're going to get more into one-on-ones and things like that. But to end the period, very last play of practice today was Jake Moody lining up from 60 yards out. And the dude boots it straight through the uprights. Had a couple yards to spare. So ladies and gentlemen, we got a kicker with a leg. This is the kicker update that you've all been waiting for. And I will say, Zane has actually looked pretty good too. I mean, honestly, if the 49ers were going through training camp with just Zane, he'd look pretty good. He'd look pretty good. But we know what it is, right? We know that the 49ers spent the investment to go and get Jake Moody, right? With the draft capital. So he drills a 60-yarder. And at that moment, I was like, all right, I've bought in. Because earlier today, Jake Moody was good from 33 and 38, looked really good. He had a slight miss on a 43-yarder, but then instantly came back and nailed a 48-yarder. I'm like, okay, I can live with that. I like that. I kind of like that he missed one, and then they bumped it back 10 yards, and he drilled it. I was like, okay, I can live with that. I don't expect perfection in practice. I can live with that. And so after all of this and watching training camp, again, it's day 6 so far. It's day 6. I've made up my mind. I've seen enough. Jake Moody is your franchise kicker. It's official. That's your franchise kicker. Zane, appreciate you. Appreciate your contributions to the squad. Appreciate you rocking number 10 and filling that out. But it's time. It's just a matter of time. I understand that. I get the competition. I like that there's another veteran in the room for Jake Moody to kind of bounce things off of. I think it's actually a pretty solid setup because it's not Jake Moody just by himself. It's Jake Moody with a veteran. I got Jake Moody as the 49ers franchise quarterback. I'm bought in. Jake Moody hive. Where you at? Where's the hive at? Where's the Jake Moody hive at? Because it's time. It's time. We're not messing around. I've seen enough. I'm for it. I can live with it. It was a shock to the system when it originally happened, but I can live with it now. I'm okay. I've seen enough. Jake. I've seen enough. Now, don't do me wrong now that I've anointed you as the franchise kicker, not just the starting kicker. No. The franchise kicker. This is serious. That's franchise now. Jake Moody, he's up there with starting quarterback. That's where he's at. He's the franchise kicker. So, I thought you should know that the ginger beard has made the decision before Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. He's the guy. So I like it. I'm excited about it. And it's a good development because if he was missing kicks and his leg looked poo-poo, I would be freaking out, to be honest. Like I have such a back and forth relationship with specialists, I guess. And what they bring to the table. And especially when they get drafted high. So I was like, please don't flop. Please don't flop. So far, he's looked good. So you heard him. The Gingerbeard has spoken. Jake Moody, franchise quarterback. Lock it in. No further questions will be answered at this time. Lock it in. Jake Moody, here to stay. All right. let's talk one-on-ones. So, perfect timing. We're going to talk about Colton McKivitz. I'm going to start with the offensive line. I really, again, per usual, locked into O-line versus D-line for the San Francisco 49ers in practice today. So, one-on-ones was very fun, something that I enjoyed immensely. And one of the reasons why I enjoyed it immensely is because our boy returned to practice. We got to see the man, the myth, the legend, Trent Williams back in practice. Whoo! Man, just something about watching Trent Williams do his job better than any other person on this planet is chef's kiss, because it's fantastic. Like Drake Jackson has been having a phenomenal training camp. Drake Jackson has been really good. And very first rep, no match. No match. It was no match, because you know what Trent does. He's a master manipulator of leverage. So wherever you think you're kind of anchoring off of, he'll move back a little bit, and then it makes you off balance. And because he moves back, then he knocks your hand down, and it was like me messing around with and this is no disrespect to Drake Jackson, because Drake has been phenomenal and he's still phenomenal today. But it's like when I mess with my toddler, you like put your hand on their head and they're like trying to like hit you. Like, you just go up against Trent. Like, it was like Drake went for a long arm where you kind of put your weight and your leverage against their body. But because Trent does that thing where he kind of moves back, like, and he redirects the landing spot for the defensive end, it forces them off balance, and then he just hits your hand and you fall on the ground. But it looks so effortless. It looks so effortless because Trent is just a master. He's a master at his craft, and he knows what the defensive lineman is trying to do to him, and he knows how to manipulate his leverage, and you're on the ground. And it's just like, someone said Trent hit him with the Steven Seagal. Bro, he's literally, Trent Williams is like he's like the Bruce Lee of offensive tackles. Like, it's phenomenal. So we got Trent Williams back, and again, Drake Jackson has been phenomenal. Still good today. But Trent is on a different stratosphere than any other offensive lineman, and getting to see it up close and personal was fantastic. Kind of moving down the line, Eric Armstead got Aaron Banks on a particular rep. I would say it wasn't the best day for our interior boys, Burford, Brendel, and Banks. They didn't get beat terribly, but they also didn't win in a triumphant fashion. Now, granted, the 49ers defensive line has been playing pretty well. But I will say that Colton McKivitz looked nice today. Colton McKivitz had a really good rep on Drake Jackson, and that was a guy that I really wanted to hone in on today, was Colton McKivitz. And on this particular rep, Drake Jackson tried to hit him with outside speed. You could see the patience from Colton McKivitz. He didn't open up his gate too fast. He was patient with them, and then he just rode Drake Jackson out of the pocket. And to kind of exemplify how good of a rep it was, Trent Williams was hyped. So, like, that doesn't happen very often, where Trent is like, doing his silverback, like, yeah, like, let's go. Like, Trent was hyped off the rep. It was a good rep. And then Trent like stamped it by his excitement for Colton McKivitz going up against Drake Jackson. So I feel okay about Colton McKivitz. Like, I've told you guys, I've always felt okay about Colton McKivitz. I've never been too worried about it. But he's proving to me every day that the 49ers can absolutely be effective with Colton McKivitz at right tackle and play pretty well. So I'm really not worried right now about Colton McKivitz. Obviously, when Nick Bosa comes back, that's going to be a whole nother level of testing and kind of being able to judge what Colton can do. And that's a matchup that I really want to see. And we still got to get Nick Bosa paid so we can get him to practice. But definitely looking for Colton to take a step forward. Again, my eyes have not caught Jonathan Feliciano. I've seen you guys asking me for an update. Honestly, I can't say anything about him. My eyes just haven't caught him. I haven't been necessarily looking for him because my ADHD is going crazy. I'm trying to post. I'm trying to take notes and do all these different types of things. Speaking of my notes, where are my notes? Doing all different kinds of things. I don't even know if I noticed him out on the field today. I don't think I did in one-on-ones at least. So I'm gonna keep an eye out for that. But oh, I got another update for you guys. Javon Kinlaw continues to stack. I know how you guys feel. There's such a tempered expectation with Javon Kinlaw, and I understand. I understand, like, no one wants to buy into any hype. No one wants to buy into, just because Javon hasn't been available. I understand that. But Javon Kinlaw continues to be an absolute menace. When I tell you he looks different. Like, he just looks like a different player. Just looks like physically looks different. He looks lean. He looks fast. His first step get off. Like, who is this guy? And I thought I liked what I saw from Javon Kinlaw last year during training camp and joint practices before he got hurt again. He's night and day better than what he was last year, and I thought he looked good last year before he got hurt. Javon, and honestly, I think that's going to be the best to suit Javon is being lighter and being leaner and taking less stress off that knee. And I really, really am looking forward to him being available. And again, that's it. If like Javon Kinlaw has probably had a sack in almost every team period of training camp. He's unblockable in one-on-ones. This dude is out here beating tackles with speed around the edge. I'm like, who is this guy? You guys already know I've always been in Javon's camp. I haven't given up on Javon, and I told you that this year too. I said, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to throw in the towel on Javon. I get it, they didn't pick up his fifth-year option. I get it, his back's against the wall. And I get it, he hasn't been healthy, he hasn't been available. But I still see I've talked about the NFC Championship game. People focus on the negatives. I saw the positives from that game as well. So again, I've always said I'm not ready to throw in the towel yet. I still think if he can be available, we can get something out of him. Well, I didn't expect this. And so it's one step, right? It's one step in the process. Got to stay available, got to stay healthy. And if he can do that, I'm looking at a guy who can absolutely play meaningful snaps for the San Francisco 49ers next year. So right now, Javon Kinlaw is probably one of my biggest risers of all of training camp because how he looks, I mean, he looks great. He looks great. Like a different person. From a body build standpoint, from the way he's moving up. Again, his first step get off is night and day faster. So, and he's got the power. The power is there. One of his reps against Jake Brendel in one-on-ones just absolutely walked Jake Brendel back into the quarterback. Jake Brendel's pretty solid pass blocker. He just walked Brendel right back into it. Would have been a sack. I got it as a W in one-on-ones. He's been great. I've been really happy about it. But Brendel got a good rep on Kevin Givens. He got a W there. Trent Williams also beat Cleveland Farrell. I think Cleveland was trying to just kind of go to the outside. Trent just rode him to the outside, let him go. I had Eric versus Brendel as a tie. Moore versus Barrett. I gave Barrett I gave Moore the nod on that particular rep. So yeah, man, I've been pretty pleased with what I've seen. So like I said, I paid a lot of attention. I paid a lot of attention to. I already talked about Taco, but I'll reiterate it since I'm on one-on-ones. Taco had 2 phenomenal one-on-one reps, won both of them. I have it here. He beat Jalen Moore with the inside spin. I previously thought it was Leroy. No, it was Jalen Moore. He beat Jalen Moore with the inside spin, and then he pancaked Il Manning, I believe it was. So Taco looked good today. And this is the thing. This is what I talked about. You got Javon Kinlaw. Javon Kinlaw as a piece. Oh, he could be a deadly piece because you have Javon Hargrave to be your anchor on the interior. And you know how Chris Kosarek does it. He's moving guys all over the place. So Javon Kinlaw can just be a piece of the puzzle. He could be a deadly piece. So I'm seeing a guy in Javon Kinlaw who isn't just a run stuffer, but he is doing it as a pass rusher. That is the biggest takeaway from what Javon Kinlaw has done through 6 practices is he's making an impact as a pass rusher, which is not what we've ever really expected out of Javon. It's something that we have hoped for, but it's not something that we've expected. So with Javon showing up as a pass rusher, that's big time. Now, again, got to wait and see. And I fully buy into that. Well, I'm not selling you anything here. I totally understand having tempered expectations. We want to see it in games, not preseason games, but we want to see it in games. Fair enough. But I'm telling you what I see here in practice. Hyped. I'm gonna try to keep myself together, but very excited with what I've seen from Javon Kinlaw. All right, let's talk about team period, shall we? Team period is kind of like a natural transition into quarterback. Before I get into quarterback, do we want to talk about anything else more specifically before I start going through kind of my play-by-play, a training camp or a team period? Anything else? We talked about kicker updates. We talked about Charlton. We went through one-on-ones. Oh, I'll talk about this. Then we'll talk about quarterbacks. If you want me to talk about the quarterbacks, smash that like button. Anything on Hargrave? Hargrave had a sack today. He blew up a play. Absolutely blew it up. I'll talk more about it in a second. We could do wide receiver. Wide receiver today. Tate Martin is showing up. So Tate Martin's a guy that I've always liked. Tate Martin showing up. He continues to provide an impact. Brandon Ayuk, Debo Samuel had a good day. Debo Samuel had a lot of catches today. So Debo was active today. That was good. Let's see. Again, Chris Connolly for me is on the rise. On one particular play, I think it's a second day in a row this has happened. Second day in a row, and I think it might have been with Sam Darnold on both plays where uh Sam goes over the middle and it's a good pass, but you have Danny Gray running all the way downfield wide open. Like when I say wide open, there isn't a body within 25 yards of Danny Gray just going downfield. So 2 days in a row, we have Danny Gray just wide arse open downfield and but doesn't get the target. So whether that's by design or by read, it's just something to note that Danny is getting open, and Danny is taking steps forward as well. Um, so right now, I mean this fringe, these battles that we talked about all summer. I'm not talking about the linebacker battle, this wide receiver battle. I think the running back battle is starting to kind of clear itself out. We're starting to get a hold on some of these battles. And right now, the wide receiver battle is up for grabs. Ray McLeod had a phenomenal practice yesterday. Danny Gray is starting to take steps forward, but Tay Martin is there. Ronnie Bell looks like a guy. He had 3 catches just yesterday. He didn't really have that type of impact today in practice. Chris Connolly, it's turning up. Javon had a touchdown today, but I'll talk about that in a second. These guys are heating up. A good problem, great problem. It's not even a problem. It's a good thing. That the depth of wide receiver right now is proving that it's more than capable. We talk about Debo, we talk about Brandon Ayuk all the time. We know what Jawan Jennings is. Jawan is still that guy. Third and Jawan. But it's Ray, it's Danny, it's Chris Conley, it's Tay Martin, it's Ronnie Bell. These guys they're all deserving of a spot, but it's who's going to make that spot. So that is going to be fascinating. I gotta be honest with you guys on this one. I'm gonna be as honest as I can, and it's really Jesus, welcome back. I've honestly been like, where's my guy? I haven't seen my guy around here. Where's Jesus at? What's good, my guy? I'm stopping the whole live to say what's up to you. I missed you. Good to see you. I was like, where's Jesus at, man? But he's back. Let's go. Stop the whole live. Say what's good to my guy. OGSDS. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Honest. I'm not trying to dig at anyone. I'm not trying to create any kind of panic or anything like that. But right now, Brayden Willis is the best rookie tight end in training camp right now. And I really don't think it's very close. But it's not just that Brayden is playing at a high level. I'm starting to get concerned about Cameron Latu. I'm starting to get concerned. And again, all it takes is a couple practices of more consistent play and my mind goes at ease. But right now I'm a little concerned. Latu has a problem catching the football. Like to the point where it's like it's in warm-ups, it's in one-on-ones and it's in team period. Now, it's not every time. He's had some good catches. He's had some contested catches, so it's not all bad. It's not all bad. But again, being the 100th pick, we have expectations. And for example, like I talked about it yesterday. He was one-on-one with Jair Brown and actually pretty solid route. He sold an inside route, broke it off to the outside, created separation from Jair Brown. Quarterback put the ball right in the breadbasket, and it looked like it's like when someone tries to like catch something, but they're like, I, I was like, ooh. But it isn't just like one rep. I'm fine. I don't care. You're not going to catch everything. It's going to happen. I'm going to give people grace. Um, I'm going to give people grace, and especially a rookie. But uh, it's been something that's been stacking. So that's why I'm bringing it to your attention. Is because it's not just today's practice. It's been a couple. And you guys know I'm not going to overreact off one practice. If there's anything that you've learned about my training camp coverage over the past 6 days, I am not going to overreact one way or the other. I'm going to try to be as honest as I can about my evaluation, but I'm not going to overreact. So, I haven't even brought it up that Latu's been dropping passes. I wanted to wait and see it get corrected, but I'm not seeing it get corrected. So now it's officially on my radar, and I hope it changes. I hope it's just a confidence thing. Maybe the game's moving a little fast, probably putting a lot of pressure on himself, and that can be corrected. But right now, um, it's something to monitor. Right now, Braden Willis is the better tight end. I've seen Braden Willis make more blocks downfield. I've seen Braden Willis make more catches. Right, Braden Willis moves better. So right now, if you had to ask me who's the better tight end out of the rookies, I would say Braden Willis, and it'd be uh I feel pretty confident about that. So with Latu, I'm not out on Latu by any means, but I want to see Latu stack some good days. I want to see Latu stack some good days. Um, so far, been a rough training camp for Latu so far. Let's talk running back battle. Running back battle has been fantastic because Kalen Laborn looks like a guy, the undrafted free agent out of Marshall. And I think we came into training camp with the expectation that Kalen Laborn on could really push on TDP. Bro, TDP has been having one of the best camps out of any player on the team right now. TDP looks great. I'm so happy about it. TDP looks phenomenal. I mean, he's running hard. He is hard to tackle. He has got his shoulders in front of his and his pads in front of his whole body. Like he is running downhill, and he's got good cutting ability. He cuts violently, and it's coming together. So right now, with CMC, Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason, and TDP, this running back room looks wildly good. Like wildly good. Like you can almost make the case like for Elijah, Jordan Mason, and TDP right now throughout 6 days of training camp. It's like if they're the twos, it's like 2A, 2B, 2C. Like they look great. TDP continues to ball. Had another phenomenal, great practice today. rumbling and stumbling. He would have had a touchdown in the red zone period. He would have definitely broken through a couple tackles. I mean, no running back that we have right now will go down by the first tackle. It's I am having a blast, and of course, it starts up front. Offensive line is opening up solid running lanes, and so like I think the best run that I saw from TDP today, I would consider it a 50-yard touchdown. Now they mark off, they'll they'll blow the play dead the second you get, it's like two-hand touch basically. So the second the running back gets touched, they blow it dead. But based on how quick TDP was moving, how hard he was running, and where these defenders were, TDP would have broken every single one of those arm tackles. They weren't in front of him. They were coming at him from the side, reaching. And I believe that TDP would have broken all those tackles and he would have went straight to the house. So they blew it dead, but I really think TDP would have scored on that if that was live tackling. So TDP, man. TDP, Jordan Mason continues to be running like crazy. TDP had what I would consider another touchdown on a drop-off pass from Brock Purdy, where he again plowed his way into the end zone. So TDP balling, Jordan Mason balling, Eli's being Eli. We know CMC's gonna cook right now. Right now, I'm pretty familiar with running back rooms across the league because I play a lot of fantasy football. So it behooves me to understand depth of other skill position rooms. So I'm pretty locked in on running back depth across the league. This team right now has the opportunity to have the best running back room in the NFL with how well Jordan Mason and TDP are playing right now. We already know CMC weights it heavily because he's the best running back in the NFL right now. But you look at the three guys behind him, TDP is not going to let Callum Laybourne take his job. That's not happening. I'm telling you right now. Through 6 days of practice, TDP is not losing his job to Caleb Laybourne. That's not happening. It's just not. That's how well TDP is playing, that I can definitively tell you on day 6 of training camp that that's not happening. So TDP is playing phenomenally well. Very, very happy about that. Linebackers today. Linebackers started to pop. Marcelino McCray Ball. And again, linebackers not named Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. Marcelino McCray Ball started to pop. Demetrius Flanagan Fowles would have had a sack and a couple other plays. D. Winters almost had an interception on he basically dropped an interception on Sam Darnold in the red zone period. There was this one beautiful play where both D. Winters and Jalen Graham met the running back in the backfield at the same exact time, and it would have been a tackle for loss. Man, these fringe battles, I know we haven't even talked. We're 50 minutes in, and we haven't talked about the quarterback yet. I just hope you guys understand this. We're 50 minutes in to the training camp recap. We haven't talked about the quarterback yet, and we got a lot to talk about with the quarterback. But these other battles, these other things that are going on in training camp right now, phenomenal. Fantastic. This is such a good spot to be in right now. I tweeted about it yesterday. Not enough people are talking about how good these practices are, the quality of practice, the quality, the intensity, the competition. I get it. We're so focused on quarterback and deciding whose quarterback take is right. I get it. I understand it. But take a step back. This team is cooking right now. This team is cooking right now. These practices, the intensity, not lacking. Not lacking at all. These boys are about their business. This is serious. This is serious, serious business right now for this team. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Alex says, talk about the quarterback now. Hey, nice transition. Might be time. Might be time. All right, let's talk about the quarterback, shall we? Depending on who you ask, Brock Purdy, 8 of 10. Again, I don't care about these numbers, but I know other people like hearing them. These numbers are from Matt Mayoko. Okay, they're not from me. I don't chart quarterbacks. I've made that abundantly clear on this channel. I don't do it. Charlene says no. What? Why? Because when we start talking about the quarterback, all the good vibes go out the window. Hey, we're gonna have good vibes. I promise. I promise. So I'm just gonna tell you these numbers. They're not even from me. They're from Matt Mayoko. Some people like to hear them. It makes them feel better. I do not give the biggest of cares about. I'm going to tell you the funniest thing that I see all the time before I go into to tell you these actual numbers. When someone references quarterback completion percentage from practice, I want to shake them and be like, do you know how ridiculous you sound? Now, I can understand providing it as a supplement, like supplementing, like, hey, I'm going to tell you about the quarterbacks, my observations. Here are the facts. Take them how you will, right? It's the people who take the. Trey Lance was 33% today on completion percentage. Are you kidding me? He had an okay day? 33% is okay to you? I want to shake these people and be like, do you know how ridiculous you sound? Referencing training camp completion percentages? What is wrong with you? That's what I want to say. I actually yelled that at someone today in a comment on YouTube because he commented, it was that comment. Brock Purdy had a good day today. He was X percentage completion percentage on the day. I literally, all caps, yelled at him and said, stop evaluating quarterbacks in practice with completion percentage. You sound like a fool. He deleted his comment. I cannot tell you the amount of times I have heard that argument when someone is trying to dunk or whatever, try to discredit an evaluation by he was 20% completion percentage today. Go take a walk, pal. Just go get some fresh air. Just take a breather. Like, what are we doing? Like that situation is the perfect use of the AI practice thing. I'm a big believer in practice matters, especially with football. Like football, you hear about it all the time. Practice how you play. Practice matters in football. But I'm also going to tell you, Training camp completion percentages? People say it to me like they did something. Well, Brock looked decent today. He threw 15% completion percentage. Like, oh my God. Give me a break. You weren't even at practice. You weren't even there. He had a fumble. Near interception. I'm like, dude, you weren't even there. You literally did not see anything. You are regurgitating. Okay, sorry. Ran over. Okay, you get the point. You get the point. Ran over. Sorry. You can feel I feel a certain type of way about that. So rant over. Rant over. Here are your quarterback completion stats on cue. Brock Purdy, 8 of 10. Again, Matt Mayoko, I believe. Matt Mayoko, Matt Barrows, one of the Matts. These are their numbers. I don't chart completions. I think it's a fool's errand. The reason why numbers are always different is because some people take away completions by sacks. But how do you determine if it's a sack or not? Because they let the play roll. That's why I'm just like, I don't want any part in this. But I'll tell you, Brock, 8 of 10. These numbers vary. Shocker. Trey, 4 of 6. Darnold, 2 of 6. Brandon Allen, 4 of 4 or 5 of 5, depending on who you ask. So those are the numbers. Again, if you try to tell me about how these guys performed based on numbers alone, I want to shake you and throw you out the window. But I'll tell you, based on actual performance, what I saw from training camp today. So, very first throw from Brock Purdy today. He hit Brandon Ayuk on the right side. Brandon Ayuk made an impressive snag to bring it in. You had the crowd oohing and on over the type of snag that Brandon Ayuk came down with. Brock Purdy completed the pass, and that was it. All right, nice. And then Trey Lance was the first up with the 2s. So Trey was next, and his first pass was an incomplete. So this is where Trey Lance has struggled the most on these particular type of throws. It was a play action boot, on the move, dump off touch throw in the flat. He has missed this throw consistently throughout training camp. So this is one of the areas for Trey Lance where gotta like figure it out of how to complete it's a 10-yard throw, but because he's so fast and he kind of jumps and rises, the ball just sails on him. Like it goes like 10 yards over the wide receiver's head. So this is he did this one yesterday too. It's almost the same exact play. So that was Trey's first throw of the day. Wasn't great. And it's kind of along the lines of a consistent situation. As we know, Brandon Allen was the first quarterback to run with the 3s. The same thing remains. Brandon Allen's running with the 3s. I really don't get it all that much why he's getting this many reps. But hey, it is what it is. It's happening. So then Brandon Allen comes in and hits Tay Martin over the middle for a nice gain. And this is where really kind of the Brandon Allen coming out party started to occur. Brock Purdy comes in and he hits Deebo Samuel for a 30-yard gain off of play action towards the left sideline. It was a really nice pass. Really nice pass. Just put it up there. Deebo went up and got it. And that throw, with the first two completions from Brock, you're like, okay, it looks like Brock has settled down. Yesterday wasn't that great of a practice for Brock. It wasn't the worst practice, but it wasn't the best either. And then with this particular throw, you could kind of sense like, okay, he's he's settling down a little bit. He's calming down just a little bit. And so this is where Brock Purdy, like, really, you started to get that comfortability back again. And that is to be expected because all the quarterbacks this practice have gone through this period of adjustment and settling in. That's why it's hilarious with like all these different takes on the quarterbacks. Each quarterback is individual to themselves, and how they're coming along is individual to themselves. There's not a shocker that a guy who's returning from shoulder surgery, who's in his first practices and taking days off, is having a slower acclimation period versus the guys who have been out here getting more reps. Like, remember, Sam and Trey did not have a great practice their first practice. And then the second practice was still kind of okay. And then the third practice started to pick up. Well, we're starting to see that for Brock. He's getting more practices under his belt. He's starting to be more comfortable, and he's starting to perform better as a result. Shocking, I know, but it's to be expected. I don't know why that's such a hard thing to process. So, he's looking more comfortable. That's exactly what we were looking for. So, started off pretty decent. Um, started off pretty decent. Um, and all that good stuff. Hold on, let me see here. So, I'm gonna tell you how this quarterback thing played out. I'm gonna tell you how this quarterback thing played out. I want you to look at this rookie hype machine. I'm gonna be back. Oops. I'm gonna be back in 2 seconds. Hold on really quick. I'll be right back. You okay? All right. Well, hi. My co-host here is supposed to be sleeping, and he might be a little grumpy because he hasn't had his full nap today. And this was prime nap time liveage. So, hey, you want to break down quarterbacks with me? All right, we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes. I can't promise anything right now. I can't promise anything. This might work. This might be a disaster. So dang. All right, let's get into it. Maybe you vibe out if you just hang out with me. Oh, poor guy. He's so tired. Hi. Yeah, a microphone. All right. So we had one play where Dre Greenlaw took CMC to the ground on a run up the middle. It didn't really look intentional. Kind of looked like it was like, oh no, maybe they're about to fight again and do all that kind of good stuff. But that didn't happen. Brock Purdy completed a screen to Deebo Samuel. Now the pass was a little high. It was a little high. I would like the pass to be lower. Deebo did have to go up and extend for it. So it was a completion. It was a little high. Deebo Samuel was fighting for extra yards. Ball kind of popped out at the end. So it was okay. This one I've seen reported kind of a bunch of different ways. Okay, here you go. There you go. Take that. Yep, there you go. Nice. As he's about to smash me in the face. So Brock Purdy hit George Kittle on an out route, so at least attempted to. You had Diamado Lenore in pretty tight coverage on George Kittle, and I've seen people call it a potential interception. It didn't look like an interception to me. It looked like a pass deflection, where Diamado Lenore got his arm outstretched in front of George, and it was a PBU, but there was a flag for defensive holding on the play. So it technically went in favor of the offense, right? But it didn't look like an interception. It didn't look like an interception to me. It looked like a pass deflection, and it was where it needed to be, but there was enough time for Diamado Lenore to get in front of it. So we'll see. We'll see. This next play, I don't know if you guys can hear me as he's moving my mic all over the place. Trey Lance threw an absolute dart to Brandon Ayuk. And it was outside the numbers, and it was on a rope. It went whew, whew. It flew right from Trey Lance's hand straight to Brandon Ayuk, like it literally was on a rope. And the coverage was tight. It was tight coverage, but Brandon Ayuk, again, it was a perfect ball. It was perfect ball, perfect velocity, and it went right where it needed to be. Oh, don't hit me with that. Don't hit me with that. Yeah. So it's pretty solid. Pretty solid. Then that was definitely Trey Lance's best throw of the day. It was about a 20-yard gain. Again, outside the numbers, on a rope. Beautiful pass. Then Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen comes in, has two quality throws back to back. And he has really nice timing on an outbreaking route to Brandon Ayuk against the left sideline, and a nice completion to Deebo Samuel on a short intermediate comeback route. Right? Yeah. So Brandon Allen is yeah, Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen had a day today. Were you expecting that? I wasn't. I wasn't expecting Brandon Allen to come out and have a good day. But Brandon Allen had a pretty decent day. I already talked about this play. Sam Darnold had a strike over the middle to Deebo Samuel, but Danny Gray was running wide open down the field. I talked about that before. This was probably one of the ugliest plays on the day. It was a would have been a sack up the middle by Javon Hargrave to the point where he just completely destroyed the play. The play was dead, absolutely cooked. Brock just flipped it to the running back. It was behind the running back, or I don't even know. It almost was an interception. Just wasn't a good play, but it would have been a sack before it would have been an interception. So, oh, 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 what's up? You just want to stand up? Just want to stand up? We had a nice. Oh, let me talk. We had a nice run by Jordan Mason. Do you agree? Totally. We had this is off the rails quickly. So enjoy the madness while it lasts. What? What? Don't eat it. Don't bite my mic. Not my mic. So I'm not even gonna be able to do this all the way. So I'm gonna give you, I guess, the Spark Notes version of everything. Yeah, I know. I want to go in depth with all of it though. That's the hard part. I want to tell you play by play. Obviously, if you follow me on Twitter, you've seen the play by play. I always like to provide a little bit more context if I can. But Trent Williams got Drake Jackson. What? Here. Ooh, there's a mic. Talking to that one. We had a would-be sack from Demetrius Flanagan fouls running up the middle. Purdy dumped that off. Let me get to some highlights because this is my mind is all over the place. My mind is all over the place. Trey Lance had this dump off to Braden Willis. It wasn't a great throw or catch. Like, there wasn't anything crazy, but what I did like about what? That's mine. You want to go crawl around in so I can see you in my peripheral vision? Yeah, I know. But anyways, Brock Purdy looked better today. He's definitely taking steps forward. He's definitely What are you doing? What are you doing? Good. Yeah. He's definitely starting to settle in. He's starting to settle in. He's starting to look more calm. I can't even focus. Yeah. Oh. You say something. They don't even want to hear me talk anyways. You say something. Say something. What did Brock Purdy look like today? Oh. Okay. Oh, that's deep. Oh, really? I saw that too. Did you see the Did you see the touchdown pass? Well, it would have been a sack actually. It would have been a sack, but it was a beautiful throw. Brock Purdy, again, it would have been a sack by Barrett, I believe, off the I don't know what else to do. You really came in with the mission, huh? He said, just accept your fate. I'm accepting my fate. That I'm not going to be able to really talk about the quarterback situation. Waited all this time to talk quarterbacks and can't even do it. You didn't want these. I tried to give them back to you. You didn't want them. So long story short, long story short, Brock Purdy looked more comfortable. Wasn't perfect, but looked much more comfortable than he did the day before. And as I imagine, he will continue to look more comfortable. Trey Lance wasn't as hot as he was yesterday. Cooled off a little bit, but still not bad. One play from Trey, one throw in particular. Ross Dwelly on a outbreaking route in red zone period would have been a touchdown if Trey. So, like, say I'm the defender, right? Say this is Ross Dwelly. So you're Ross Dwelly. Ross is running this way, right? Toward the pylon. The pylon is this way. Ross, you're Ross right now. We're going to use you as a prop. So Ross is running this way. I'm the defender. I'm trailing, right? So where you want to throw the football, if you're Trey, is you want to throw the ball out here, right? So your receiver could get it. But Trey threw the ball back here, and it was a deflected pass. So that's that's really where we gotta get Trey. Oh my God, this isn't gonna happen. This isn't gonna happen at all. Long story short, Brock Purdy looked better today. He looked more settled. Trey Lance still needs to work on it, some accuracy and consistencies, but again, still looks better. Sam Darnold had a down day, almost interception, out. Don't do it. Don't hit me again. Almost had an interception by D. Winters, and Brandon Allen looked really pretty good today. How about that? Are we good? We figure it out? Oh. So anyways, someone said, wait, who's better? I would have said Purdy was better today. I know, it's time to go. It's time to go. Yeah. All right. Well, appreciate you guys tapping in. Appreciate you guys rocking with the coverage. Yeah, I know. Grab your cookies on the way out. You want a cookie? We'll get you a cookie. As you know, no training camp tomorrow. Training camp back on Thursday. And then we'll be back at it again. Shout out to all you guys, man. At least we got through all the good stuff, not non-quarterback stuff. Oh boy. You say bye? Say bye. 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 Okay, maybe not. I'm out of here. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to try to get this guy back to bed. Y'all have a good one. I'm out. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to